Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to our April industry meeting here in San Francisco, and welcome to all of you out there in our webcam TV land. We appreciate you viewing as well. I'm Angela Corcoran. I'm the Acting Regional Director for the West Region. Most of you know that Tom Zambrano has retired, so I'm filling in while they interview new candidates for the position. We expect that the position would be filled probably in the next 2 months. All right. I haven't been at an asset management meeting for a while. I was actually an asset management director 10 years ago. So I hardly see anyone from 10 years ago. That's a good thing. We got new recruits. We have my friend here. So I just want to thank you for what you do. You're the ones out there, taking care of the residents and dealing with all of our rules and regulations. And I know it's not easy all the time, but we really do appreciate what you do. So thank you. I'd like to go over the agenda with you. Okay. I've welcomed you. Next, Janaea Jackson will go over general multifamily updates. Jim Raymond will go over communication protocols. Angela Morrison will discuss renewal best practices with you. Excuse me. You went one too far. Thank you. Okay, so we've got PRAC renewal best practices, and then Robin Thompson will go over how to prepare for an MOR. Grant Whitty, who is a program analyst from HUD headquarters, is here just to speak with you today. And so you're going to hear right from the horse's mouth, as they say, all the new things going on with REAC, and you'll learn a lot about REAC this morning. Cheryl Borgstrom will be talking about how to prepare an action plan. And then Bob Ducha, our information specialist, will talk to you about some IT updates and also the very important affordable housing search system that's on our website that we've been trying to work on. And then we'll allow time for industry announcements. And then from 12 to 12:30, you can, all of our account executives will be here, so you can look for your account executive and meet them if you haven't met them, or talk to them about some issue or problem that you may have. Okay? Oops. I don't know. There we go. I didn't. I really didn't. Okay. It's doing it by itself. Okay. I guess the technology has C. It's really loud. It's not. I thought it was me. I'm glad it's not me. Okay. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is how we're going to handle questions. We have a very, very full agenda, so we'd like to keep the questions till the end. You all have these little blue cards. If you have a question, please write your question down. If you have a property-specific question, you're welcome to write it down, but we most likely won't deal with project-specific questions. But if you put your name and your email, we'll get back to you to answer your question. We'll collect the blue cards after our REAC presentation. So just hold on to them. I know it says here to turn them in after every segment, but that would get too distracting, we think. So we're just going to collect them, all of them, after the REAC. And then after, sometime before or after the industry announcements, we'll have time for questions and answers. Okay. Okay. And now I have the pleasure of introducing one of my favorite people at HUD. Janaea Jackson is our asset management director, and very happy to introduce her. She hasn't been here even a year yet, and when she was hired, she came into the severest staffing shortage that HUD has ever had and continues to have. And then we threw in a shutdown to just make it even more exciting for her. So I'm glad she hasn't run away yet. But here's Janaea Jackson.
Thank you, Angela. Well, it's great to see all these beautiful faces again. I remember a few of your faces from last year, or I should say 7 months ago in 2018. I'm glad we didn't scare you away, glad you're back, and I see some new faces too, so I look forward to getting to know you at our meet and greet in the end here. So we're going to start off with some HUD leadership updates. Here we go. And since we last met, there have only been 2 updates here that you might not be familiar with. One is our Deputy Secretary, Brian Murray, who is acting, as well as Angela, who is acting over the Regional Director position. And as she's mentioned, they're out searching for our new director, and we're very excited to see who is selected in the next couple months. As Angela mentioned, we are still in a pretty severe staffing shortage. Since we last met, we lost 3 additional staff members, and we've had to move things around to accommodate that. So what that means to you is your account executive has even more properties than they had when we met last time. So that does require you to continue to follow up with us and also be patient with us as we work through our programs. So Gwen Kelleher currently has 2 resolution specialists on her team. She's now acting over what was Erin's position. I think Erin vacated her position about 1.5 years ago. So she's now acting over that branch as well as her own. You'll also notice we don't have Ramona here anymore. Ramona took another position with healthcare. We're very happy for her. We think she's going to be very successful. In order to backfill or to temporarily backfill that position, we've promoted John Tedesco, who's in the back. John, can you raise your hand? He's in a temporary detail for us in that position until we're able to hire someone permanent into that position. Also in January, we had moved Jim Raymond, over to a different portfolio, which is in San Francisco. So he's no longer over the LA Vegas portfolio. That's now John's. The great news is there is movement in hiring. So we have 2 positions on USA Jobs right now. If you know of anybody who's looking for a new gig, come see me. I'll give you business cards, you can pass it to them. We are hoping to fill both branch chief positions with that advertisement, as well as 3 resolution specialists with this advertisement as well. Closing date is April 25th, next Friday, so please jump on it. Now, as Angela mentioned, this has been an exciting 7 months. During my tenure, we had the campfires up in Northern California, and that has kept our staff extremely busy managing to take care of those folks who've been displaced by the campfire. Paradise Garden 3 lost all of its units and had to relocate all of its folks. So we'd really appreciate your continued help in helping house those folks who are still in need of housing. Oh, sorry, it skipped. Let's be more patient. So these are the properties who have housed folks, and I want to make sure we give them a round of applause because we're very thankful for that. Reading Pilgrim House, Silvercrest Santa Rosa, Oak Center Towers, and Tahoma Village Apartments. Thank you so much for stepping up and doing good by these folks. There are still about 160 families who are displaced. So if you have properties with available units, please reach out to us, let us know. You can send an email to sf.incoming@hud.gov and subject line campfire housing. If you at all are interested in learning more about how to implement the disaster preference program, Davin, there he is, Davin Jamian. So His email address is here as well, and he will be around for the meet and greet. Okay, so on to a few specific items that have changed since we last met, or not changed, but improved, I hope. We sent you all an email about a month or two ago with this updated guidance for reserve for replacements. This guidance doesn't change what already exists. It's just to clarify what already exists. There are two improvements that you will see on in that email, which is the HUD Form 9250 and the mortgager certification. You will see on the second page, there's two radio buttons at the bottom that say send to San Francisco and send to Denver. That's so that you send it to the right place, to sf.incoming and to San Francisco or Denver. So those are two enhancements with that process. And last time we were here, Tom was talking about mañana items. This was one of those mañana items, which is the Section 202 Elderly Program, NOFA. It's out, which we're extremely excited about. From my understanding, it's been 10 to 15 years since we've had a program like this. The closing date is August 28th. It is capital advance funding for project rental subsidy funding. Unfortunately, my staff cannot answer questions with the as the application process is going. However, if you do have questions, this is the link to the website. After Industry Day today, we will send you a copy of this email about all of our presentations so that you can go ahead and use the information here to do whatever you need to do with it, so you don't have to frantically write this down right now. Now, still a mañana item, the Section 811 Supportive Housing for Persons with Disabilities, NOFA, that is still being worked on. So it's not expected until summer of 2019. However, if you have questions, you can go to grants.gov. There are some service coordinator updates. Firstly, the Standards for Success program was piloted and now it's in implementation. We do need all the service coordinators to register on Grant Solutions. So there's a couple options for that. If folks are a member of the American Association of Service Coordinators or Family Metrics, they can go directly to them. They will help them get registered on Grant Solution. Otherwise, there's this link that, like I said, we'll send you this PDF at the end of this. For all those other folks, they need to go to that link and work with HUD to get registered. So that registration deadline is tomorrow. So we need to make that happen if you haven't already, please. And semi-annual reports are still due December 31st, and headquarters will be monitoring it. So the Violence Against Women Act, VAWA, updates. Hopefully I got that right. Owners and agents, you guys are also expected to comply with these requirements even though it has expired. So please stay in compliance with that. And for performance-based contract administrators, sorry, no good new news. It's still being worked, and we're not expecting to see a draft of the solicitation until sometime this spring. That concludes my presentation. I'm going to hand over to Jim Raymond. He's going to talk about communication protocol. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jania. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for everybody for coming in today. Hopefully it's going to be worth your while. I just wanted to talk about communication protocols. I know it's not exciting, but it's something that will really help us be more efficient in the office with the reduced staff that we have. So I'm going to go over some tips and advice on how to submit tasks and kick off how to get some questions answered most efficiently as possible. Excuse me. So when we came back from the furlough, we had over 800 tasks that we had to get through that we had backlogged. And with almost 5,000 different properties covering 6 different states. We only have 4 branches now that we've divided up those states. So the states are now divided up as follows. We have John Tedesco, myself, Gwen Kelleher, and Sylvia Cuellar as the branch chiefs that are covering those states. So going into how to initiate a task, hopefully everybody by now knows that they're supposed to send the request into sf.incoming@hud.gov. There are some tips, though, that we would like to communicate to you on subsequent communication with the account executive that you're working with, that you don't copy this email address anymore, and that will cut down on the redundant requests that we receive that we have to then comb through and whether or not it's a new request or an existing request. So when you initiate a request, please send the request to sf.incoming@hud.gov. And then once the request has been initiated, you can work one-on-one with your assigned account executive. And if you don't know who that is, we can let you know today. There's also a link in this PowerPoint presentation that you can use to find out who's been assigned or who is assigned to the project. And I just wanted to reiterate, like what Janaea said, everyone's going to get a copy of this PowerPoint presentation as well as a link to the YouTube video that we're filming right now. So just so you're aware. Upon contract renewals, there's another email address that we use to expedite the processing of contract renewals, and that's sf.funding@hud.gov. So when you have an executed contract that you've signed and you're sending back, please use that email address, and that will be the quickest way of getting that contract renewed. Otherwise, it's, like I say, another step or 2 steps to finally get it to where it needs to go to initiate that contract. Another thing that we find a lot is that the DUNS number or the tax ID number is either expired or it's incorrect. So please check that ahead of time. Upon the renewal request, that should be combed through to make sure that those numbers are correct when you send in the initial request, so we can expedite things, because if we find out those are wrong at the end, it will delay processing. So some tips on how to get things processed faster, or how to make things more efficient within our office. The biggest complaint that we have when we try to process these new requests that come into us is that we don't actually know what project it's for. So unless we can dig into the attachment or figure out what's going on, if you can include in the subject line and even save the file name that you're sending into us with the type of the request, the project name, and either the FHA number or the contract number, that will help us assign the task, get it to the correct person as soon as possible, which will which will expedite processing. Incomplete or piecemeal submissions are going to be returned. So if we can't figure out what the project is or what the request is for, we're going to ask you, and that will delay processing as well. Other tips on submitting tasks or submitting requests to us is, like I said before, don't keep CCing sf.incoming on subsequent questions that you wanted to ask your account executive. Please reach out directly to your account executive, and the link at the bottom is the link that you can use to find out who the assigned account executive for your project is. We did go through a major reshuffling of our portfolios 9 months ago or so, but since then those assignments have been quite consistent. So if you have been working with somebody for the last few months, chances are it's going to be the same person, but it does sometimes benefit to check that to make sure it is correct. This is just a list of several of the assignments or several of the tasks that we get in our office. So you can see that sending in redundant requests for the same thing just multiplies all of the tasks that we have to comb through to figure out which is the original and which are the duplicate tasks, so we're not doing one thing 2 or 3 different times. So if you were able to help us out with this, it's going to significantly decrease the processing times and the efficiency in our office while we're short-staffed, so we can get back to you as soon as we can. One other thing that you're probably not aware of is that for escrow release requests, so when you have some repairs that you want to get money out of the escrow and you're looking for HUD to approve, there's a separate email address for this as well. So this is where you would send those to expedite that processing. Some other tips are please send in your renewal requests as soon as possible. We're trying to get these sent in at least 120 days before the expiration date. That way we can have funding flow through contract renewals and there's no lapse in funding while we wait for these things to get renewed. So please don't wait to send in your renewal requests. And it would make everyone's life a lot easier when we don't have to rush to get something renewed before it actually expires. 3 months is plenty of time for us to figure out anything, any nuances with regards to the projects, and your funding should flow continuously. I mentioned DUNS numbers. Please check the DUNS numbers. When you're sending in EH&S certifications, please include the letterhead of the project. Please always keep contact information up to date in apps. If you don't do that, then if you change the contact information at the project but don't update apps, we don't know who the new contact is at the project. So that's an extra step for reaching out to the wrong person for requests. Angela Corcoran was up here earlier. She's the new acting regional director, so we just included her line item for things that need her signature, so that will speed up so we don't have to revise documents. And then we do still accept 2530s via paper, but if you submit them electronically through apps, it speeds up things as well. So that's another way to speed up the processing. I know a lot of PBCAs attend these industry days as well, so there's same sort of tips apply. Please initiate requests through SF.incoming. Any subsequent questions you have, please email your account executive directly. And then the PBCAs can actually help us out one step further by saving attachments via the IREMS number and then the actual name of the attachments using our file naming convention. Otherwise, when we get these submissions back from the PBCAs, we have to rename them ourselves. So if you can help us save an extra step there, it would be very helpful. If you have any questions or need a list of the file naming conventions, we'd be more than happy to pass that along as well. We have 2 funding specialists that are processing all of our contracts in our office, and they're divided, much the same way sort of the branch chiefs are, but instead of having 4 branch chiefs, there's only 2 funding specialists. So it's Asha Littlejohn and Susan Chen. So thank you both. They do a tremendous job for us. But their contact information, and then based on what state your project is in, that's the funding specialist that you would contact. That's all I have. Thanks. Please, if you have any questions, write them on the blue cards. We'll get to them at the end. Otherwise, I'll be here at the end as well if you have any questions. Now I'd like to introduce Angela Morrison, who's going to talk about PRAC renewal, best practices. Thank you. Okay.
Good morning. I'm going to be talking about the procedures for expiring contracts for 202 and 811. Owners and agents must submit an operating budget for all projects with an expiring contract for 202 811s once a year. For the field office to adequately and timely review the PRAC contracts and budget-based rent increases, they all must be submitted 120 days prior to the expiration of the contract. All budget-based rent increases must be submitted at the same time as the PRAC contract. If the budget-based rent increases are not submitted 120 days prior to the expiration of the contract, the rent increase will be renewed at current rents. The field office will send out 2 reminders. One is 180 days prior to the expiration, and the next one will be 120 days prior to the expiration. The owner and agents are responsible for having current email addresses in the HUD database. If there's been changed to the ownership and the management agent, make sure that you notify HUD so that information can be updated in the HUD database system. The owner and agents are responsible for ensuring the information is correctly in the system in order for us to expedite your request. Owners are also responsible for making sure that the DUNS numbers are correct or have not expired. Dun & Bradstreet will notify you 90 days in advance. We are not able to renew contracts if the expiration date is expired or incorrect. HUD will continue to process budget-based rent increases and contracts when there is insufficient funding, because that is not your error, that is our error. And hopefully we won't have any more government shutdowns that will make it longer than what it's supposed to be. For this guidance, you can refer to HUD Notice H2000-17, HUD Notice H99-13, and of course our HUD Handbook 4350.1, Chapter 7. Thank you. Next, I'm going to bring up Robin Thompson. She's going to talk about MOR.
Thank you. Thank you, Angela. How y'all doing? Okay. Okay, I'm not good at this, so let's see how this goes. It's still me. There you go. Oopsie, did I go back? I did, no. Okay, there we go. This is Prepare for an MOR, Helpful Tips and Reminders from HUD. That's us. This is only going to pertain to, so this guidance is for HUD administered projects only. I know Kahi's in the house. Do we have LOMOD too? Just Kahi? Okay. If your project is, if you're under Kahi, LOMOD, they will do your MORs. This is for properties, let's go through what it's for. Insured without Section 8 assistance. So we do have a lot of those coming in, what we would call market rate. 202 pracs and any kind of prac, a 202 or an 811, HUD does that meant MOR. Projects formerly insured by the State Housing Finance Agency, if you have an HFA at the end of your insurance, and you've paid that off, it's no longer underneath, in this case, Cal HFA, Idaho Housing, Alaska Housing Finance. Once it's paid off with them, it comes to us. It does not go to the contract administrator. RAD, so these are converted to property-based Section 8 public housing. Standalone Section 8 BB, so if you got some, you're lucky enough to get some 8 BB units, those will also be administered by HUD, and all projects in the entire state of Alaska, because we cannot find a PBCA who will do Alaska. This guidance, I'm forced to say, this guidance does not necessarily include projects whose Section 8 is administered by a PBCA or a TCA or risk share, but we probably won't come out. You just have to say that. Okay, so when are we going to come out? That's the next big question, right? If you're insured only, meaning no Section 8, no HAP contract, or if you're RAD, we are going to come out within the first 6 months of operation, and then as needed. Typically, we leave you alone pretty much after that, as long as you're keeping things up. Okay, then you got PRAC, standalone 8BB, and our Alaska portfolio. We're going to come out within the first 6 months again, and then about every 3 to 5 years as needed. Then what does as needed mean? Well, we're HUD, and it's written down. It's in chapter, Handbook 4350.1, Chapter 6, Paragraph 6-4 says, when desk reviews and risk assessments indicate that physical, financial, or management problems exist, and the extent or cause of the problem is not immediately apparent, or when deficiencies in project operations have been identified at other projects of the same owner or management agent. So that means if that's all, your entire portfolio, okay? And like I said, that's in the handbook. And it should miraculously appear. All right. I did. Okay. NAMA, so the industry spoke and we listened. NAMA did a survey. I don't know, possibly many of you in this room participated about MORs and how HUD and the industry can interface better on this activity. I say activity like it's fun. The first thing that they said was MORs take too long, too much time. Ties up the staff for 2 or more days. You're putting together binders. Plus, there's closing down the office for the site review itself. It's just very onerous. I actually saw a letter in one of the files of a property that I think I got all the properties now, but anyway, and it was the initial letter out to the owner about an MOR, and it said, we will be there Tuesday through Thursday. No, we're not going to do that anymore. Okay, so there's too much. Another thing that was said, there's too much duplication. We already have to submit financial statements, and we have a REAC inspection, so it's all too duplicative. And finally, going through the 9834 takes too long. We want a checklist. Okay, so those were the main crux of the complaints. And here's what we're going to do. Okay, HUD will make every effort to cut down on the required documents. Yay! How are we going to do that? Because they're all in the handbook and we have to do it. Well, the checklist will, when you get your checklist, does everybody, well, I'll have a picture of it in here in a minute, but does everybody know what I'm talking about? You get the checklist, it's at the very back of the 9834. Okay, we're only going to ask for the documents that are necessary to investigate the issues that are there, okay? But we ask for everything, okay? So it all must be available for review, okay? That doesn't mean you have to send it to us and photocopy it and put it in a big binder. Dad and I go to Alaska a couple times a year to do MORs, and we get a binder at every property, and I'm not putting those in my luggage. So we have to mail them back to ourselves because we don't have any way of making them PDFs and emailing them to yourselves. So just PDF us, right? Easy peasy. Probably have all this stuff in a PDF document already anyway. So that's what we're saying. Just submit PDF copies, and let's go ahead and do it anytime before the MOR. So if you have your TSP and a PDF, just email it to us ahead of time. If you do, then that gives us an opportunity to look at it ahead of time too. Okay? Okay, here's that lovely checklist. And like I said, please note way up there at the top, I've got a pointer on this, but I'm not very good at it, so let's see if I can do it there. Make it available. Okay? That doesn't mean we want a copy of all this stuff. Look at this. That'd scare me too if I were you. And a couple of these things, for instance, well, I can see it better on mine, but it's the fact sheet, how your rent is determined, and resident rights and responsibilities. I guarantee you we have a copy of that already. The reason why it's on this list is it's supposed to be, you're supposed to have something in the file to show that your tenants have it too. We have it, so don't send me that, please. In addition, down here at the bottom is all this EIV stuff. You're not allowed to send that to us. So if I get that in an email or it's in a binder, I'm like, you know, because we get in big trouble for that. It's in your rules, ROBs, right? So just have these available, okay? Don't mail them, don't send them to me, don't PDF them. Okay. But wait, there's more. To the extent practicable, the AE will ensure that all duplicate reviews are to recheck prior findings. So we're not necessarily going to look at 10% of your units anymore. We'll probably ask to look at the properties that had EH&S to make sure that you fixed the EH&S. Or if we had a resident call during that year, we probably will want to go see that resident's property, things like that. But we're not going to just arbitrarily do 10% of the units anymore. Don't have time. And where possible, the AE will complete sections of the 9834 prior to the visit, and redundancies will also be eliminated prior to the site visit. By the way, how many of you know that there are actually 3 redundancies in the 9834? There are. It asks twice for how many units are vacant today, and it asks twice how long it takes you to get a unit ready for occupancy, and then one other thing. So we're just going to make sure we don't ask you those twice. Okay? And finally, with few exceptions, the MORs will be completed in 1 business day. Yay. So we will only bother you 1 day. We might ask you for stuff before and after on the phone or an email, but we'll only be on site 1 day. Okay? Fair? You can give me a day? Okay. Here's some tips for a successful MOR. This is things y'all can do ahead of time to make sure it goes fast. Once in a while, we've actually done MORs that we get there at 9, we're done by noon. I kid you not. Right? Now, who wouldn't want a 3-hour MOR, right? I like them. No one raised their hand. Well, we're going to keep coming for 3 days then. When you're scheduling the MOR, let the AE know if there are any dates that don't work. Like the first week of the month, I usually don't even try to do that because you're all doing rent collection, right? But if the residents are having an ice cream social or anything like that, the elevator's getting fixed, whatever, you know what's coming up. Just make sure that if that's on that day, let us know. Be flexible though. Try to work within the week that we ask. A lot of times, especially if it's out of state or if it's, we have Southern California, Northern California, and you might have an LA person coming up and doing NorCal. We're probably going to be traveling that week. So try to be flexible within the week. And finally, once the date's set, do all the preliminary tasks as soon as possible, like we were talking about. Go ahead and get the residents notified, get the TSP and all that stuff out. And remember, this is a biggie. I'm going to say this twice. I am going to duplicate this. Remember that if you have long-term tenants and the tenant's origination documents are in a storage room across town, we need to see those. So make sure all that stuff is on site. Probably not the stuff in between, but definitely the stuff at the beginning, okay? So then you have the Form 9834, Addendum B Part A, completely completed. That's redundant too, but it's got to be done completely or we're going to have to ask you for more information. I mean, we literally, it goes in our IRMS database. Every single one of those things that you check off goes in the database. The database won't go to the next slide unless that slide's done. So make sure it's very complete and just hand it to us when we get there. If you have any EIV documents, reports, and training, have them available. And then that we typically do see in one binder, and that's really helpful. And then make sure that the archived tenant, like I said, this is the redundancy, archived tenant origination documents are available. And relax, because we really are very nice people, and we'll make it nice for you. Make sure there's coffee. Okay, so then when we're all done, then you can go have some fun. Okay, here's the life cycle of the MOR. I don't know why the little things aren't showing. No, go back. They're supposed to be little arrows, but they're not there. Anyway, so you start at the top. We contact you to schedule. You email us the preliminary docs. Then it's going clockwise. Then
I can see it here on this side.
oh, okay. See, okay. Oh, I guess you can over there maybe too. Okay, it's just really hard to see. Okay, and then the OA notifies the residents. That's really important, right? And you do all the other stuff. Then we meet with you on site, and we do the MOR. And then within 30 days, we send you the report. And then 30 days later, you've fixed everything, and you reply, and you say, here's the report. And then we send you an email saying, thank you, it looks good, close it out, and that's it. We're done. The whole thing is 60 days, right? Well, 65 or so. Easy peasy. Okay, you can appeal a below average or an unsatisfactory rating only, and that's within 30 days, and just put it into sf.income. So just put MOR appeal, ABC apartments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, okay? Now, I actually had a resident manager who got an above average. He really wanted a superior. Kid you not, he wanted to appeal it. No, sorry, we just don't have that kind of bandwidth. I'm sorry, next time. Okay, so it's question party, so go ahead and fill out your blue forms or learn to live with your questions. It's up to you. And or you can always contact me, because if I can't answer your question, if it's more property specific that you're county executive, I'll get you the right person. Okay? All right. Thank you. And next, big treat, ready to hear from REAC and headquarters. and he's going to give us some really good information on the REAC inspections.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good morning. Again, I'm Brant Whitty. I'm a program analyst in HUD headquarters in Washington, D.C. I'm kind of like the Multifamily's liaison between the Real Estate Assessment Center, REAC, and the Departmental Enforcement Center. What I want to talk about today is some of the new changes that are starting to occur with the physical inspection protocol. I don't know how many of you have had a chance to go to any of the 5 listening sessions that were held across the country. A raise of hands of anyone that attended? One? Okay, so this should be pretty new to you then, if you haven't seen some of the slides before. Okay. So when Secretary Carson came on, one of the first things he did was he set up some task force to conduct a wholesale re-examination of the physical inspection protocol at REAC. Why did this happen now? You have to think REAC was created in 1999, so that's 20 years ago. We've done hundreds of thousands of inspections up to this point, and we have a lot of good information on how we can improve the system. Another reason was that there were some high-profile cases in the media where it looked like the current model wasn't working properly. So that was more impetus to get started on this. We started by creating one task force. The number of task force now is multiplied. There's 4 or 5. And the effort's starting to gather steam, and it's starting to move forward pretty rapidly. But the idea here was to place greater emphasis on eliminating health and safety hazards in units, and to ensure that owners adopt sound maintenance practices year-round. Okay. What did I do with it? So the goals of the new inspection model, like I said, are to protect families and reflect the property's true physical condition, and to convey HUD's property management expectations to owners. Failing scores are not acceptable. 99.5% of the properties, and owners and agents do a great job keeping the properties decent, safe, and sanitary, but there are a small number that do end up being, in some cases, high-profile properties, and we want to kind of eliminate that. So we want to strengthen current standards, especially our scoring model, and that's going to take some time, but we'll show how that's how we get there. And the protocol overall we use to assess the properties. Like I said, the effort's gathering steam, and one of the first things we did was issue a joint notice between housing and public housing, and that was notice H21904 / it's a notice public and Indian housing 21902. That was issued on February 22nd, 2019, and the idea there was to standardize the number of days when we schedule 14 days to schedule a physical inspection. So this applies to both public housing authorities and to multifamily properties. I don't know if people have had a chance to read that notice. So the main feature there is that this applies to only properties where government personnel, so our federal inspectors, the QA inspectors, or HUD contractors inspecting on behalf of HUD and under REAC procurement procedures. It's only going to apply to those projects. So if you're a market rate FHA insured project, and that's the only program that applies, this won't apply to you. You'll still have the chance to schedule as far ahead as you want with the lender, because in that case the lender is contracting with the inspector to do the inspection. They're scheduling and paying for it, and we don't want to interfere with that process. So it's only cases where Section 8 only, if the project's HUD held, non-insured 236, with an inactive wrap, rent sup, or IRP contract. Those will be subject to the 14-day notice. The one insurance program that is covered here is properties insured under 542B. Those are the risk share properties. There's 542B and 542C. 542Bs are inspected not using the UPCSR, Uniform Physical Conditions Standard. That's the standard we use now. They're inspected by Fannie Mae. But if we do have a 542B with a Section 8 contract, then we have to have a contract inspection. So it will be inspected under that authority. So the goal of this was to standardize the time period we notify you of when this inspection is going to be held. And the general idea is you'll get a call from HUD if it's a QA to arrange a QA inspection, or from the contractor if it's been contracted out in some manner. And they'll give you a 14-day notification period unless local law requires a longer period of time. So they'll have a date in mind. They'll give you the date. If you can't do that date, then they're going to have a second date in mind, and that's to occur within the next 7 days after that 14-day period. Most likely the inspector is going to pick the date most convenient to them, and there isn't going to be much negotiation back and forth. If you can't accept that date, then the score is going to end up being 0. So like I said, that notice was issued on February 22nd, and it actually took effect on March 25th. We haven't had any, the way HUD procures inspections now is through what we call a reverse auction process, or in Midwest and the Southwest, we have an experimental procurement demonstration going on called the indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity task order process. So those are cases where there's, in each of those regions, there's 3 or 4 large contractors that will give them a list of 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000 properties. Those 4 companies will bid on them, and then whoever wins will do all those inspections for 6 months to a year in that region. So we haven't had any procurements since probably last October, November. So the only inspections that we're requiring the 14-day notice at this point are the QA inspections. Now we do expect a couple of reverse auctions to be put in place within the next 3 to 4 weeks. And there is a big direct award task order that should be awarded within a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, and that'll cover 4,500 properties. And at that point, you're going to start getting contacted by inspectors trying to schedule those inspections. In those cases, the 14-day notice is going to apply. So if you weren't able to meet that first 14 days or not scheduled within the next 7 days after that 14 days, what happens, and you do get to 0, what will happen is that HUD is supposed to place a flag in the active partners participation system. It's a 2-tier flag. And then we'll issue what we call a notice of default of contractual obligation. And the contractual obligation here is that you have to allow HUD to inspect the property. What the NOD is going to do, it's pretty much like all the other, the standard NOD we would send out. It'll ask the owner, because we weren't allowed to see the property, we have to assume that it may not be decent, safe, and sanitary. So we want the owner to take 100% inspection of the project and then submit the owner certification that all deficiencies have been corrected and that the project now meets our UPCS standard and state and local code. We give you a 60-day period to do that. Once you submit the certification, HUD will go back and inspect after that 60-day period as soon as possible. And during that time, if you are eligible to take distributions, you're not allowed to take distributions until the default's cured. So probably most of you are familiar now how you can postpone, cancel, or delay an inspection. Since this first 14-day rule went into effect, we've kind of changed things a little bit, and we issued a new memorandum that explains under what cases you can delay an inspection. The most important thing to note is that you have to request this delay before you get the call from an inspector saying, I need to come in 14 days. As long as you arrange things and get the approval ahead of time with your account executive resolution specialist, we can get delay approved and you won't get the inspection. The circumstances are, and this is from the MAP guide, we've put a finer definition on what we consider major rehab. And we took the definition from the MAP guide, and that was $15,000 per unit or more. The other condition is if you're in a county where a presidentially declared disaster has been declared, 30% or more of units suffered fire damage, water damage, etc. If a project's already under a HUD-approved repair plan. So if you've already had a case where you've had scores below 60, and you weren't able to submit the owner certification in response to a notice of default because you couldn't get the repairs done in 60 days, it was going to take longer than that, then you entered into a plan with HUD to do the repairs in 4, 5, 6 months. That's a case where we can delay the inspection. So what you need to do is you need to get ahead of the curve and let your account executive know of one of these instances. They can go ahead and approve the delay by email. They no longer have to go to headquarters for approval. Asset management director can approve them, and you get an approval or denial by email, and then there's a copy sent to a main mailbox in headquarters, and REACT picks up from that main mailbox what can and cannot be inspected. So the 14-day notice kicked things off. The next part of the re-examination of the inspection model will be to actually go out and start to demonstrate the new model. The new model is originally going to be called the 3x3x3 model, but they changed that name recently to the INSPIRE model, which is the National Standards for Inspection of Real Estate model. It was originally called the 3x3 model because it's going to cover 3 types of inspection now instead of the 2. What we're going to ask is that the property owner and the management agent do self-inspections. So the idea there is they're supposed to be at least once a year. They would carry out an inspection of the property. HUD will provide the software. You use that software. You can submit it piecemeal throughout the course of the year, or you can submit it all at once. If you don't want to use the software, there's an alternative where you can submit a work order to show that you've entered each unit at least once a year, one time over the course of the year. Even if there are no repairs to be made in that unit, you can note that on the work order, say no repairs needed. But they want a work order from each unit at the property over the course of the year. Again, you could submit those all at one time or piecemeal as the year goes on. And then we'll have the REACT contract inspections. They're going to do away with the reverse auction, and they're going to go with what they call a direct award. So that'll be similar to the IDIQ, the indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity procurement mechanism that we talked about, the one we've experimented over the last 2 years with in the Midwest and the Southwest. So what they envision now is that the West will have 3 or 4 contractors. The Midwest will have 3 or 4 contractors. The East will have 3 or 4 contractors. And we'll submit task orders in each of those regions, and then those 3 large contractors will bid on the right to do a large number of inspections. And then there will always be the HUD quality assurance inspections, and those will be reserved for properties that look like they may not be, where there's evidence that they may not be maintained as decent, safe, and sanitary. And then the main role of the quality inspectors also is to provide oversight to the on the contract inspectors to make sure that they're doing their job and doing the inspections according to standard. The second part of the 3x3 model was that there's now going to be 3 types of deficiencies, and we're going to categorize them. This is supposed to be resident focused. We want to do health and safety. That's going to receive the greatest weight. Function and operability will be the next highest in weight. So that's, if a door, we want to make sure the door functions properly and it operates correctly the way it was intended to. And then condition and appearance, for the most part, is going to get the least weight. And in fact, a lot of those condition and appearance items that exist now are going to be up to the owner to do when they do their own inspection. And that'll be built into the software that the owner would use. Or guidance provided if you didn't use the software and were using the work order method. The idea here is we want to provide, we've listened to the owners and agents on cases where maybe a piece of the carpet one piece of carpet was replaced with a different type because that carpet's no longer available. So we don't want to place a lot of weight on conditions like that. And the last part of the 3x3 model is that there's going to be 3 inspectable areas. As you know, there's 5 inspectable areas now. There's units, common areas, building exterior, building systems, and site. We're going to pare this down to units, and then everything else inside the building and everything else outside the building. And the weights, this is the way the weights are going to start out when we do this demonstration that's getting ready to kick off soon. But it's going to be weighted. Units 50%, the greatest, inside 25%, and then outside 25%. Units now get 35, common areas 15, building exterior 15, building systems 20, and site 15. One thing we've learned about the current standard that we have is that I think most of the deficiencies that are found when we go out and do an inspection is that they're with common areas, building exterior, and site. And if you just treat those, it's possible to treat those deficiencies and correct those deficiencies and get a passing score even though you didn't have a passing score in units. So therefore, we're going to shift the weight more toward units. Okay. This is a timeline in mind to start this demonstration of the new model. So a demonstration means that we're supposed to be able to take the current rules and regulations and waive those while we do this demonstration and then test the new rules and regulations. Okay. So the first part of the demonstration is going to begin probably at the end of the third quarter of 2019. This is where we'll start collecting the inspections from owners voluntarily. The idea was originally to focus on Region 3, and we were going to require all owners in Region 3 to submit their owner self-inspections. We found out through OGC that we weren't able to compel owners to do that, so the idea now is to go nationwide with volunteers, owners and agents who volunteer to participate in the demonstration. So if you do volunteer, you have to be aware that you're going to have to submit the owner inspection information. Okay. Phase 2 then will begin at the end of the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2019, probably like September, October, probably carry over into October. This is the part where contractors and government QA inspectors will go out and start testing the new standard, the new dictionary definitions, the new scoring model. They'll be experimenting with a number of units that get pulled into a representative random sample. The number may go up. The idea right now we have a 90% confidence with 6% confidence interval. The idea is to go down from 6 to 4 or 5, and that's going to entail an increase in the number of units that get inspected. But the demonstration is supposed to start, like I said, quarter 3. The model inspections by contractors and government employees will start 4, and it's supposed to last a couple of years. They say if things went well and they got the model tightened up before the end of the 2 years, it would be possible to go nationwide with it and switch from the UPCS we have now to the new model, the Inspire model. But I foresee it'll probably take at least those 2 years. Okay, I think that's about it. Thank you very much. I think what we want to do now is if you've written any questions down, someone's going to come by and gather those questions up.
Yeah. So if y'all could do me a favor and pass your questions to the end of your aisle on your right side, which is my left side, and I'll come around and pick them up for y'all.
Okay, I think, well, he's collecting those. I want to introduce Cheryl. And Cheryl's going to...
Well, good morning. It's great to see you all. I see a lot of new faces. My name is Cheryl Borgstrom, and I am from the Las Vegas head office. Is it coming up? Oh. Yeah, I am an account executive. And a little bit about me, because there's a lot of new faces. I've worked with HUD for 8 years now, and I came from PBCA CMS. My old boss is here, Kurt. It's great to see him. I was there for about 5 years, and before that, I was an on-site manager for about 3 years for a 64-unit family project. So it's been great to see this side of what on-site managers go through. There's a lot of work you guys do, so I appreciate what everyone does. But I'm here to talk about action plans and so with action plans, when properties have experienced problems that lead to increased risk, then an action plan is required. And it is used to formally identify and document those specific steps that are taken to improve performance. And all action plans are required for all assets that are classified as troubled. And that would be a 1 to 5 under the current risk rating model. But what's also great with action plans is a valuable tool to engage an owner and to also take those preemptive steps to improve performance for potentially troubled properties, and that is a rating of 6 and 7 under the current risk rating model. But but just because your property is not troubled doesn't mean you won't get one. From me, you might still get one, because if I see a potential something that could become a potential problem, then I might initiate a HIT plan, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But our 4 objectives that we're to cover today is first is, why does HUD issue action plans? Second, how are the risk assessments conducted? Third, what action plans are available? And 4, meeting with the owner. Okay, so I just want you to think about, well, what's the overall goal of HUD's mission? Keep that in mind as we do these things, as we come out with new tools, or now that we're doing action plans. We need to remember that we're here to protect the tenants of HUD insured and assisted housing. We're here to protect HFA insurance fund, to ensure that the funding supports its intended purposes, to safeguard taxpayers' money, to promote accountability, efficiency, effectiveness, to assure fairness and respect, to encourage integrity, teamwork, preserve the stock of affordable housing, and ensure quality housing through maintaining physical standards. So when risk assessments are conducted, we do it with a SPICE framework. And if you're not familiar with that, SPICE stands for Score, Prioritize, Investigate, Classify, and Execute. So depending on whoever is over your project, if it's account executive, a senior account executive, a resolution specialist, they will first start with that first phase, score, and then prioritize. So when the score, so after the initial score and prioritization phase is completed, that's when the account executive will then investigate, well, what is this deep problem? We know that there's something wrong is going on here. This property is getting into risk, and they have to use the tools that we have available and determine what issues there are with this property. And after they determine what those issues are, then they'll use the classify stage to determine exactly what action plan would work best for that specific problem that they saw. And then in this execute stage is when they will actually develop that plan. And that plan is actually developed with the owner and management company. So really it's the management company and the owner who will develop this plan. We don't have a set standard of how it looks like. Because each property is different and they have different circumstances. So each plan is going to look different. And that's just to say we do not operate under the one person plan to rule them all formula. Different circumstances call for different action plans. So we have 5 different action plans, and that could be used. The first one, either one, marketing and physical improvement plan. We have an expense management processing improvement plan. We have a capital plan. We have a HUD initiated plan and a preservation action plan. And you will get these slides emailed to you, so I don't want to dive too much into each action plan because, again, it's going to be property specific. But it just tells you a little bit about what kind of type of plan that you would be using with a property, like what to look for. If you were to do the MPIP plan, it would be because maybe you have a high vacancy rate or high turnover, and then it lists exactly kind of what kind of steps that you could do. Like we may say, it seems like your management agent company doesn't have a lot of experience. Either they go find that experience and start training their staff, or we may suggest to the owner, maybe you need to hire someone who has a better experience so that they can handle these issues that are coming to the property. And sometimes we'll see properties that just don't have that great curb appeal, and you want to take pride in your property. So look at that. You know, are tenants not wanting to live there because of how it looks? Do you have security? Do you have security cameras? Do you have lighting? So those are some of the things to think about as you're doing your plan. And then with the expense management processing plan, that's something if you're having trouble meeting your expenses, you have higher than average operating expenses, high account payables, and again, you could be asked to. The owner could be asked to hire a new management company, or maybe we'll ask monthly accounting reports, just different ideas of what could be done. Next one is the capital plan, and with that one, you could do some actions you could do is refinance, you could sell the property to another owner, reduce the interest rate. So again, you can read that more on your own. Next one is the HIP plan, and that can be used for owner agents who are not cooperative, that are very unresponsive. And some actions that could be done is we may refer you to DC, we may recommend civil money penalties. Again, flag the owner agent. And sometimes I do a HIP plan, just an example is if I have a contract administrator who is contacting me, or I'm getting a lot of tenant complaints coming to me, and the contractor comes to me and say, okay, I've emailed this property, this management company numerous times. It's been a month. And I'm like, whoa, why has there not been any communication given to the management agent? Just like you know, emailing us want that quick response back. We expect the same. You know, if you have a contract administrator saying there's these tenant complaints, could be a saved healthy issue, respond within that day if you can, or the next day, even if you don't have enough day, if you can just say, okay, we're working on this. The next day, we contacted the plumber, they're going to be another few days, or whatever it is. Keep that communication open, because sometimes I have opened a HIP plan just because there is no communication happening and it's been a month or maybe 2, and then I'll do weekly calls and we'll have you do an Excel. And sometimes with that, I just kind of tell you what the plan is. I'll say, okay, I want an Excel, what work orders you have, how quickly are you performing them, and we have a weekly call on it. And then it can get closed within like 2 months pretty fast. So that could happen. And then you got the preservation action plan, and that's due to underutilizing CAP units, and you can do the 8BB transfer on that one. And again, just to stress is it's very important, because you as the management agent probably already know if your property is going into risk. It's probably not a surprise, and you know the property more than we do because you deal with it on a daily basis. So feel free to take that initiative and contact us. We're here to help. And if you have ideas, because when we call you and we say, okay, we see these problems, what can we do to work this out? What steps can we take? It will actually be up to the manager to come up with that plan in writing. So you'll take that conversation on the phone, and and whatever steps you guys determine, you want it to be measurable. Like in 2 weeks, we'll have this accomplished. The next 2 weeks, this accomplished. And you're going to want to put that all in writing and then send that to us by email, and then we'll discuss that with our branch chief and see if that's good steps to get this property out of risk. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Oh, and we try to get the action plans done within a 12-month period. Hopefully sooner, but hopefully not longer. And again, we're here to help you. Don't ever be scared, or we're here. We're here to help, and give us a call. And we're here. We want to keep these properties out of risk, and we want to ensure that the tenants are living in decent, safe, sanitary conditions. And now I'll turn the time over to Bob Dutra.
Thank you, Cheryl. It's been quite a while since I've addressed you. I think maybe even years. A lot of new faces, and I recognize most of you, as a matter of fact. My name is Bob Dutra. I am one of the information specialists for the region. Those of you who do know me probably know I'm here because I got bad news for you. It's about affordable apartment search on HUD.gov. Okay. Okay, this is a screen print from IREMS, our real estate management system. By the way, I got 5 minutes to talk to you, but we're ahead of schedule, so I'm probably going to stretch it out a little bit, if you don't mind. Okay, so what it is, we have a screen for owner information and a screen for management agent information. This is part of the screen for management information, and there's a section there called management agent contact. And you can see there's for John Stewart, president, his phone number and his fax number. Didn't have his email, but it could be there too. This was designed to be HUD's contact at the management company. It's who we're going to contact if we have an issue with the company, like enforcement issue or something. So a couple years ago, many years ago, HUD decided we needed a search engine for the public to find affordable housing. So they hired a contractor who designed this application. Well, the contractor saw this thing, management agent contact, and assumed that's the name and phone number and email address to give to the public to ask about vacancies. Well, okay, so this went online, and we got a lot of bad feedback from principals saying, take my name out of IREMS. I don't want people to contact me. And so, unfortunately, we lost a lot of contact information, names, phone numbers, email addresses, which we need many times. Like, there's a disaster. We have to contact somebody at the agent and say, what's the status of the property? So there was a kind of disaster in the works, so it became a priority to get that fixed. And the fix was they added a new section to that screen at the bottom. It says rental inquiries contact. And the agreement was whatever you tell your account executive to put in that box is what is going to be displayed on the affordable apartment search engine. So whatever name you want, whatever phone number you want, whatever email you want, that's what's going to be displayed. And that worked for a while. Unfortunately, that contract got defunded. And there's no more contract, no more contractor. But the data was still there. It was still being displayed on the internet. People were still doing a search on that data. And it got older and older. Some of those, I didn't realize what was happening until Tom Mastrobrado got a call from a property in San Diego, St. Paul's Manor. It was a former 202 property. Well, they paid off the 202 loan, and they're still elderly, but they're now market rate. We're getting all these calls from people, And so I called Tom, and Tom contacted me. I said, well, so I called headquarters, and so, it's only updated every 3 months or so. You have to just wait. So we waited, it never changed. Tom got a call again for the same owner, This went on for many months. It turned out, that's when we found out that there was no more contract. This data was never going to change. So not only was old properties there that shouldn't be, new properties weren't there, and the contact information that we had entered many times was no longer right. Wrong phone number, wrong email, person moved on. This went on, this has been in effect for the past 2 years now. Stale data. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, headquarters finally decided to modernize this website. It took this search engine down, didn't inform any of us, just took it down and replaced it with something called the HUD Resource Locator, which is really advanced. It's a map. It's a map-based. Google Map. It's sort of like Google Map. Okay. So I went in and tried to figure out. I get these calls from our receptionists saying, "Bob, we can't figure out this new application." So I went in and said, "Yes, it's kind of difficult." I started playing around with it, and so I looked at some of our properties, and what you do, it's a map, and you click on the little icon for the property, and it brings up the specifics. Well, I go in here for Alexis Apartments, and here's the management contact information. It's Don Stewart again, with his personal phone number. Deja vu, right? I mean, it turns out because the people who did this, don't have the. I've been around couple of years with HUD, right? I remember all this history. Well, it was that story, but if you don't, history repeats itself. Somehow, I don't know what it was. Well, anyway, they saw management agent contact. That's the version to use. So now this is what the public is going to see again. So I went on some more, just to make sure. Here's Lawrence, and there's John Stump, contact person. And there's his email address. Well, okay. I said, this is not going to, not right. So anyway, I sent out my emails. I documented all this, sent it to headquarters. I went to two emails to the deputy assistant secretary already, saying, you got to know this is what's going on. It gets a little worse. I mean, the HUD Resource Locator doesn't just have our properties. It's really a nice system, really is. It also includes LIHTC properties. So I went in there, and I don't have a screen for this. This happened yesterday. And I was thinking about this, I think Tuesday night. If our data is wrong, what about the LIHTC data? So I went in there, and what they're displaying is the syndicator as the contact person. I don't think so. That was another email to the deputy secretary. I said, look, it's not our data, and it's not our application. But most of the time, they didn't design this system. It was somebody else. But I'm said, guess who's going to get the complaints? Multifamily. Okay. So anyway, headquarters has been notified. Passive voice, active voice. I notified them many times. Everybody I can think of back there, I've notified. And request to you: please do not ask your account executive to remove the management agent's contact information from IRMs. We really need that to do our business. So I'm really hoping the headquarters, listen to my complaint, and take some action to correct this. Well, there's some good news. The good news is that nobody can figure out how to use the HUD Resource Locator. Once you know the secret, you can go home and try it. You can do a Google search in HUD Locator, Resource Locator, and see if you can figure it out. You get the map very easy. You can click on stuff very easy, but try to get a report, a listing, which is what people want. They want a listing of properties they start contacting. So anyway, I've developed a access database for our receptionists to use in the West region. So, and that database is only pulling data from that rental contact information. So anyone who calls up HUD in the West region and asks for a listing of affordable apartments is going to get only the contact information that's in for IRMs. Now, the question is, I'm sure you're asking yourself, okay, I wonder what IRMs has for my company, for my properties. So I thought about this last night. I wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, God. So anyway, this morning I developed a report for you. And it lists, top of the page, it lists the name, address, and phone number and email of the management company, the high level. Now, Jim mentioned this morning in his presentation. This is data that you maintain in apps. If your company moves, you get a new phone number, or you want a different contact person in that company, you go into apps and change the email address and the phone number. We can't do that for you. The bottom part is property specific. It's that management agent contact for that property, and it's the rental inquiries contact for that property. Only the account executive can change that. So what I'd like you to do is, get a report like this from me, find your property, see if this information is correct. If it needs to be corrected down here, contact the account executive. Now, I went through the sign-up sheet this morning that Amanda sent me, so I do have reports printed for those people identified on the sign-up. And you can see me after this at the meet and greet. I'm going to say the names because I have plenty of time and stretch this out. Okay, Alton Management, Avanath, I don't know them, but they showed up. Bridge, Chinatown Community, Christian Church Homes, EAH, Eden, Eschaton, Eugene Berger, Foundation Property, FPI, G&K, Human Good, that's a new one to me too, Interim, JAE, John Stewart, Calco, a new one to me, Mercy Housing, Midpen, PK Management, Related Management, Satellite, Silvercrest Management, and Salvation Army, Teleq, and TerraCorp, Union Pacific, two of them, Volunteers of America, and Watch Resources. So if I mention your name of your company, you can come see me afterwards, and I give you the printout. Those of you who I didn't call out and you want a report, you send me an email, Robert.A.Dutra, D-U-T-R-A, at HUD.gov, and give me the name of your management company, and I will email you back a report for your properties. No question, I'm sorry. Questions later. I'm done, so, Janae, you coming back? Okay. Thank you for your time.
Okay, and this is the time that we have allotted in our agenda for any industry updates. So, anyone else want to come up and talk? This is your time to come up. Any industry announcements? Okay, if there aren't any, then we will roll into the Q&A. So I have one question. It is any time frame for new income limits. So this has not been issued from headquarters yet. You'll probably see it before we do. But yes, it's not out yet.
Okay, I have one. Can PRACs be renewed for more than 1 year? Currently, our PRAC properties are on an annual contract. No, they can only be renewed, once they expire, they can only be renewed for 1 year. Okay, and I've only got one, but I'm taking an extra one. So I'll do the MOR one first.
Do the new MOR practices apply to PPCA as well? I was really afraid somebody was going to ask this. No. Their ACC is very specific. They have to, hit certain targets. Whether they want to revamp that or whatever is on them. But we're talking about just HUD administered contracts, okay? And then when subsidy is terminated for over income, can it be given to a different tenant? And this is just kind of a occupancy 101, so I decided I'd go ahead and take it. Yes, so it depends on how your property is sitting. So if you have a property that's only partially Section 8, and the units are the same size, they're either mirror image or identical, talking square footage and amenities both, yes, you can talk to your account executive and ensure that we've got you in there for what we call sliding slots on your contract. And like I said, you can't go from one bedroom to two bedroom or from one bedroom to studio, but as long as they're like apartments, yes, you can turn that over to another unit. We really actually encourage you to do so we don't have subsidy out there that's not being utilized, because it's really important. And the next question is, if an original tenant later becomes eligible, is the owner agent obligated to reinstate subsidy for the original tenant? I'm assuming that this is the same situation. Well, if it's 100% Section 8, obviously, yes, you would reinstate it because they're occupying that space. But if you have a property that's only partially Section 8 and you've already moved that subsidy to another family, the answer is no, they'll have to wait until the next slot is available. They can be put on, if you have your tenant selection plan has a priority for in-house, they can be put on that in-house waiting list as long as it's already there. You can't all of a sudden establish it for that one family. But no, if the Section 8 is encumbered by another family, then they have to wait until there's a Section 8 slot available again. Okay, thanks. And next we'll have Brad.
Thank you. Got a bunch here. Okay, the first one is, where are the new REACT regulations noted? There are no new REACT regulations yet. The current regulations are found at 24 CFR Part 5, Subpart G, and 24 CFR Part 200, Subpart P. So those are the current regulations. To do the new model, like I said, we're going to start this new demonstration. At the end of the Q3, we'll start to test the new model. A demonstration is really what we're going to do is set aside these regulations that are currently in place, the rules and regulations currently in place, and we're going to test to see what we hope in the end will be a new model. And we're going to do that over a 2-year period. So we don't have any regulations yet, but I did just give you the references to the old regulations. The whole idea of the demonstration, it's a volunteer. If you volunteer, you'll be part of the demonstration. The old regulations won't apply. You won't get an inspection based on the old standards. You'll get one using the new model. There's going to be a lot of back and forth between the owner and the inspector until we can figure out, what works and what doesn't, especially the scoring model and the final list of deficiency definitions. If you want to look at the current deficiency definitions, they're on the REACT website. There's about 300 of them. We're in the process now going through those, seeing which ones should remain, which ones should be eliminated, and so forth. This next question, is it right that carpet can be repaired with unmatched carpet? Under the current model, I don't think it. I think you'll get some points deducted for that. I'd have to go and actually look at the actual definition, and like I said, there is that dictionary of deficiency definitions. That's on the REACT website. There's 300 of them in there. It's a long document, but you can look up every deficiency in there. And this is probably, I would assume, if I went and looked at this particular case right now, under the current model, it would be a level 1 deficiency, and I'm not sure. It would depend on what type of building you have, how many units, how many points get deducted. See, all those formulas are going to be readjusted in this new model, but that's going to take some time to get the adjustments correct over the course of 2 years. And again, things like that, that was an example I used just to say that, things like that have to do with appearance, those are going to be weighted a lot less than they are now, we're hoping. Another example is a gas or oil-fired hot water heater. The example they used in the listening sessions where there's the outtake flue is disconnected, but there's the in and outtake pipes for the water flow, and those have some minor rust on them. Under the current model, the minor rust would be cited as level 1 deficiencies, and you get a certain number of points taken off based on how your project is configured, whether it's scattered site or just one tower model, and how many units are there. Under the new model, that minor rust on those pipes doesn't affect the function or operability of the hot water heater, and it could be 4 or 5 years before you actually need to change those pipes that have that minor rust. So we don't want to deduct points for that because right now they're just only matters of appearance. But we would, because this disconnected flue is a health and safety issue, that would receive major weight. As a property management company, how can we correct issues with an unprofessional quality assurance officer on a REAC? When there's a name and number here where we're supposed to contact. I imagine this person's got some serious issues. We get this quite often. So we get this quite often where the owner or the agent will contact the account executive, the resolution specialist, and then they'll come to us at headquarters. But there is, if you go to the REAC website, there's an office or a division there as part of REAC PASS called Inspector Administration. And it gives you an email contact where you can make a formal complaint to that email contact. Or during the course of the inspection, if you have an issue, you can call up the Technical Assistance Call-In Center. And it gives you a number there to call. And you can voice your complaint during the inspection and then get guidance from them about whether you want the inspection to halt or whether you should go forward and then make a formal complaint on at the email address. I think it's better to voice your complaint directly in that email or to TAC rather than go through the account executive to headquarters because a lot of times we can lose track of that. And a lot of those things are personnel matters that we won't get feedback on after you've reported that. But the Inspector Administration Division is it's a pretty thorough division. James Cunningham is the director, and they send people out to interview the owner and the agent if it's warranted. In many cases, they do that. And then they'll get the inspector side as well, and then they make a judgment. I don't have that. We can get you the email address and the phone number from the TAC if you don't have it already. Please explain or give details regarding inside and outside on a REAC. So that's part of the new model, and that's really to be determined yet. Like I said, right now we have 5 inspectable areas, right? We have site, we have exterior, we have common areas, building systems, and units. And the new model is going to attempt to reduce everything to just 3 areas. Inside of the building, outside of the building, and units, yeah. So certain common areas, there could be common areas outside, and the idea here is in the past is to confuse inspectors quite a bit on certain deficiencies, on whether the deficiencies inside or outside. And this is an attempt to simplify things so that everybody knows what's being cited. How can we volunteer for the new inspection model? So that's going to, there's a Federal Register notice that's in clearance right now, and that's going to provide all the details of the how the demonstration is going to work. That's in clearance. It should be out in 3 to 4 weeks, barring any big holdbacks. And you'll have a 60-day comment period to comment on that. And then The mechanism to volunteer, I'm not sure has been developed yet. But when it is, though, I'm sure that it'll be posted prominently on HUD.gov, and we'll let field offices know, and then they can let you guys know. Okay, the last question. If the condition of a unit is poor due to resident action or inaction, and owner can demonstrate steps taken to remediate the situation, lease violations, legal actions, etc., will the inspector take this into account when scoring the property? Okay, so we've talked about this, and it was talked, I think they mentioned it during the listening sessions. I don't know if you know DJ Lavoie, he's the Deputy Assistant Secretary for the REACT. He mentioned this at some of the listening sessions where they are going to explore possibilities during the course of this demonstration about what they can do with deficiencies that are resident caused. Right now, there is no way to do that. The other thing to do would be to, and they're looking at this as well, is normally you would address these through the appeal process, through a technical review or a database adjustment. That's not allowed now for owner caused deficiencies, but they are exploring the ability or whether or not we should take those into consideration as part of a technical review or database adjustment review. Okay, those are the questions I had. Thank you very much.
There were a few more questions that were property specific, so we will email directly to those folks with those answers. So we are going to move into our Q&A part of our agenda, but I wanted to help you out by helping introduce our staff. So if you're looking for someone specifically, you can see who they are. So I'm going to ask my branch chiefs to call out their folks that are here, and staff, if you can raise your hand so folks can see who you are. So I will go first. Susan Chen, funding specialist, she's in the back. John Tedesco, acting branch chief.
Yeah, I have Frank Castro and Carol Buster.
All right. And Jem Raymond.
Over here. Jennifer Estrella, Paul Williams, John Tedesco.
Sylvia.
Sylvia Meeks, Janice Morris, Lane Tarape, Marshall Scott, Betty Chong.
And Gwen.
Angela Larson, Robin Thompson, Michael Holt, Gavin Paul, Martha Sophia Chin, Michael Picasso, Judy Clark, Julie Eckler.
Great, and we have Amanda here as well. And I also want to do a quick shout out to Amanda. Amanda put all this together for us. She's extraordinarily amazing. All organized and making sure this goes off every quarter. Thank you. You did an amazing job.
Is Leanne Farner here?
Right here.
Oh, okay. Okay, we good.
We also have Anitha here on a detail with us for 4 months. So that's Anitha back there as well. I think we have everyone covered, right? All right, bon appetit. Please enjoy talking with the folks. And thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here. Thank you.